All right, in our last video, I showed everyone how to make an aluminum sample, and I made sort of this weird sun design. And the last thing that we did was glued the metal to the cardboard, and I put a cookbook or a weight on top of that. So it's kind of nice to have it glued down to a surface. Today we're going to try out copper. And so copper is a little bit thicker metal, and it's has a different feel to it. So you know, you did a little practice with the aluminum, and now you're going to go into something thicker. So what I thought I'd do is sort of like a Pisces symbol. Here's one I did last year in aluminum. A couple catfish chasing each other around. And then this time what I thought I would do is give it a little more perspective. So you've got one fish kind of going towards you and one fish kind of going away from you. Now, anything that you draw, you can do as a metal sample. My recommendation is to do a bunch of drawings. Don't just take the first thing that you start on and emboss it, but rather take your time and do some practice and figure out something that you're really going to like, because you're going to be spending a lot of time on the embossing. And especially as you get into bigger pieces, it makes more sense to do something that you really like. So, you know, the practice samples are one thing, but the larger sample is going to have a little bit more complexity to it. So we're going to start off just like last time. You're going to get yourself a little piece of tape, and you're going to take that little piece of tape and you're going to tape your design to the metal. And the idea is so that it just doesn't move around a lot, okay? You want to be able to go back to that design, and it kind of stays in the same place. It's nice to just put one piece of tape because that's easier to remove, and it's also easier if you want to check and see where you're at in terms of your design, so you can lift it and lower it. When you put your design down, make sure that everything fits. And I might pay attention to this because the one fish is a little bit on the other side. So kind of want to even it out so that when it's done in the metal, I'm happy with the spacing. All right, just like last time, you're going to start off with a ballpoint pen. And this is kind of just a rough sketch that I did. So I'm going through, and as I'm copying it down, I'm going to start with sort of the contour. Contour is the outside drawing, or the kind of the outline of the piece, okay? By the way, it doesn't matter if the ink comes through, but it is easier to see where you've been. This pen is kind of running low, so some of the ink is not coming through. So as I go through, I might kind of think about what in my sketch, if there's anything I didn't like, okay? So I did the contour, now I'm just kind of filling that in. Then we're going to do the other one. Oh, I got to do these guys too. I can freehand that on the metal too, which is also fun. Now on the copper, you're going to notice, because of the thickness of the metal, you're going to notice that it does not transfer as easy as the aluminum. The aluminum is a lot softer. All right, so this didn't come through, so I'm going to go back and go over that. Like I say, with the copper, you're going to find that you're going over the lines a lot more. So that being said, it does actually, when you're done, it holds the design better. The aluminum, I find that even when you're done, sometimes it's easy to get dents and things. The copper tends to hold its shape better. So I don't know if you can see that, it's very faint, but I will try to zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see the design. And you can see it's very faint on there, and that's okay. What I tend to do is when I'm done, is I put the drawing side by side with the embossing part, so I kind of see where I'm going, okay? Now, one thing that's kind of nice with the copper is you can use metal tools more easily than with aluminum. Aluminum tends to make holes, and the copper can also, but it will take more pressure. So I'm going to use this double-ended stylus. This is basically has a ball on each end, and one's a little bit larger than the other. So this is a good tool to start with. So I'm going to start with that tool. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go over my design. And this is a contour. Again, a contour is the outline, okay, sort of the silhouette, if you would. And if you can learn to do contours of things, you can learn to draw pretty well, as you're just looking at the light and dark of something. Okay, so without doing too much more, I'll probably do the eyes. Think about if there's anything that really wants to go in. I'm going to do these lines on the tails. And then what we'll do is we'll start to stretch it. All right, so now I'm ready to start the embossing. Again, just like with the aluminum, we're going to flip it over on the back and we're going to start pushing. I'm going to switch to time-lapse mode so that you're just kind of watching me work quickly.